Okay, we are live. Let me wait for the phone to tell me we are live. Maybe not. Let's just start.
Love it when technology's on our side. Greetings, Earthlings. There we go.
We are Johnita Francis and Trish Rock, your empowerment influencers.
No fluff conversations about life, empowerment, spirituality, and freedom.
And thank you for joining us for this episode. It's episode 15, and we are proudly sponsored by Holistic Bliss Magazine. Hey, everybody. How are you? Hey, Janelle.
Yeah.
Hey, Jess, and welcome our live audience. If you are listening to this podcast on iHeartRadio app, Google Play app, Apple Podcasts app, or Buzzsprout or Spotify, you need to come into our live audience one day and over in Facebook and come and watch us in action because it's fun. Although we're not dressed up tonight, but you know, you never know what'll happen.
Just, I was actually doing a live earlier today, and I was talking about a guided life coming on tonight, and I went, "Oh, we're on Buzzsprout. Damn it! I need Trish.
Yeah.
She can rattle these off.
I can rattle the apps off."
I've got no idea. You know why? I think it's because I just trust that you remember them. So I don't need to worry about it. So it's just absolute trust. So this is a good compliment that I've got no flipping idea where we are.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, we're down to some really cool topics now.
We are. And the funny thing is, over the last couple of months, I'm like, who the fuck brought that topic up? Because I forgot. We wrote our lists ages ago, didn't we? And even though I read them every now and again, I think I'm going to pull both those lists up and see who's picking these topics. And then it conveniently just goes out of my head 5 minutes later, and I still can't remember them. And then they come up on the spinning wheel, and I've realised the last little while some of the hard ones have been mine. Sorry.
Wow, I'm glad you brought this up.
And I think, I don't know whether Spirit wants a bit of personal growth from me, but I kind of feel when I wrote them, I'm like, oh, yeah, I might just have to research that a bit or whatever I was thinking when I wrote them. And then, of course, I didn't because it just went out of my head. And now they're coming up and I'm like, ooh, that's a toughie. But we managed to channel every week the answers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that because some of the stuff that came, like when I saw your topics, I'm like, fuck, Trish, really? Like, we're going to stick this on a wheel and we're going to give it over to the universe and we're just going to have to come up with something on the fly. Nothing is scripted in our world. And then I've actually loved it because ironically, we always have a chat. I mean, Trish and I talk all week anyway, but we always have a face-to-face chat every Wednesday night before we come on, and 9 times out of 10 it's actually related to the topic that comes up on the spinning wheel.
Oh, it's creepy, isn't it?
So it's really creepy. If we weren't already weird, I think that was super weird.
Well, I do have a chance in another 5 or 6 weeks to redeem myself with an easier list of questions. So,
Ooh, I look forward to that. We've actually come up with some really cool ideas too. So do make sure you tune in every single week because you never know what we're going to come up with.
That's it. Let's pop the wheel up into the screen. And let's see what we get tonight. I'm actually going to take myself. Allowing guided flow into the everyday.
Ooh, now
that's exactly what we need today. And now we've swapped too. Sorry about that.
Oh yes,
I thought we were doing chaos. It's all chaos and mayhem.
Ooh, what an interesting topic because I've been learning about this flow stuff, right? Because I'm Virgo dominant, so I don't flow. I go with the flow, but I don't flow. It's controlled flow, okay? I'm like a little
Processed.
beaver at the beginning of the dam, so I control everything. But I've learned how to just relax a little bit more in different areas of my life, which has allowed the flow to happen. And I think a good example of this was right at the beginning of the year. Now, I'm a major vision board person. I've done it for years. I've achieved everything on my vision board. I get such a kick out of doing it, but I've generally done it by June. This year, I shared it with Trish, and I'm like, I kind of don't want anything on my vision board, because what happens if I'm asking for a list from, or all the things from list A, and the universe really badly wants to give me the things from list B, and I don't even know about list B because I'm so focused on my list A. So I'm just going to leave it blank. Well, after my first 5 or 6 coronaries, I got my head around it, and now I've gone back to putting things on my vision board, but being a lot more broad. So I've allowed flow into my life in that manner, I suppose.
Absolutely, because otherwise it was like, universe, bring me this, this, and this, and I don't even want to know any of the other things that you might bring me.
Exactly. So was I screwing myself out of opportunities? Probably. Look at all the things that have happened to me this year. It's been one thing after another for all the right reasons. I'm not complaining. Please don't shout at me. But it's been interesting. Some of the stuff that's come up that I would not have thought about putting on a vision board previously has turned up in my life. So it's really interesting.
It is. It is. Well, I've kind of had flow squeezed into me through massive personal development this year that I've cornered myself in and had to do. And that has brought flow, because what was the other choice for me? The other choice was to feel uncomfortable and block everything. So, I guess it's I called in a lot of things this year as well. Well, actually, I was calling in a specific vision, and all these other things came in that are actually supporting my vision, but they've stretched me personally big time. And it was either go through each day really clunky, or find a way to get it more in flow.
Yeah.
So that's been really good for me this year, and I'm teaching that now, of course. And it's really about being in the present moment. That's where the flow is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the coolest thing about what we get to do in our jobs or in our passion work, is that we don't just read a book or go, oh, that sounds really cool, or watch a YouTube clip. We actually get to live it before we get to teach it. It's just a wonderful way of learning.
Yep.
But it is. And we're like, oh, I see now.
Yes.
So, I honestly, sometimes the lessons suck. Okay, they do suck. And hindsight is a wonderful thing, because we go, oh, now I realize why that lesson had to suck. But in the time, in the thick of it, it's hard, it's tough, And I think the more you open up and be vulnerable and be honest about what's going on. I mean, I don't hold anything back. If I'm, and you're exactly the same, we've got ebbs and flows. We don't pretend to have all the answers and have this Zen cookie-like bloody life, because that's just not accurate. We're learning every day, so we get challenged.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it just, it just comes out of the blue, and you're like, oh, where the fuck did that come from? I was in a flow a minute ago and now I'm up against the wall. What's going on? And, it's in those moments you can just lose yourself in that, I guess. And you can, it's really about making the choice, isn't it? To bring yourself out of it. And I was listening to something earlier from a channel where they have someone channel an Arcturian message. And part of the message was really interesting. It was about, it really helped me at the time, but I knew it would come into the conversation tonight. It's about all of the, we've chosen this lifetime to show up, knowing full well that this was happening. And one of the reasons one of the reasons it's so hard is that many of the other lifetimes we've had, there's only been 1 or 2 things to process and grow and evolve. This particular lifetime, and especially now, we're getting hit with left, right, and center with stuff that's coming up that needs to be cleared.
Yeah.
And it's harder than any other lifetime because we've chosen to be here to clear it all, but it's not just like the other lifetimes when it was one or two things and it was a bit cruisy, and then you got hung or thrown off a cliff or burned at the stake. And then, now it's like it's all coming up. And the reason is that we're all ascending into this higher energy, and you cannot take that heavy, dark energy into that higher vibration.
Exactly.
And so on this channel it was saying, be really kind to yourself and really aware that you know that you're rising up into higher energy levels if you're feeling this stuff going on, because it's going into every corner of you and it's shining a light on everything and bringing it all up. And it's only doing that because you're rising in energy. And it's obviously the people who aren't choosing to rise in energy, it's not happening to them as intensely. But and I thought, well, that's a really great explanation. It kind of explains it all and it makes sense and it kind of makes me feel a bit better about it. But when you're going through the mud, it all feels pretty crap.
I was talking to someone a while ago and I used an analogy about a trailer, and all your baggage goes in the trailer and you can't really move forward in a less clunky manner, or you can't move forward freely while you're carrying this trailer worth of shit. So it's exactly what your point was just then. In that trailer is all of your everything that you need to let go of this lifetime, and it's kind of like your removalist van, and you've got everything in there. And some stuff you need to spend longer on than others. We get that. That's the nature of the beast. But you can't take that trailer with you. It doesn't serve you. It's not going to help you. It's just going to weigh you down when you're trying to be a helium balloon. So we have to process that and let it go. And
it's a bigger load than any other lifetime, and so it's a bit more of a struggle to let it go. But our soul's calling us to move to those higher levels, and as such, life will call to have a look at all the dark corners.
Yeah, great.
So how do we keep the flow in days like that? Well, I've had a few meltdowns this week, actually. One of them was on Sunday when I had 2 meltdowns before 8 o'clock in the morning. And then, I know, right? It's crazy. Or was it Monday? I don't know what day it was.
That's how good the meltdown was.
roller coaster. And then I had to decide at 8 o'clock, I'm like, this is crazy. I could stay on this roller coaster, which was far from calm, all day, stuck in comparison and stuck in all this other shit I was bringing up. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to let it ruin my day. So then I went and did my daily card draw, and this most wackiest picture came up. It was this guy with these big goggly eyes. He looked like a turkey. And it was just made me burst out laughing. And I was in flow the rest of the day. So ultimately, I guess what I'm saying is it's a choice. You have to choose in the moment.
Absolutely. So you're the director of we're all the directors of our own lives. So we've got, choices to, and, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a meltdown, because sometimes the energy is sitting, for me, I know that the energy is sitting there, and by the time I get to frustration, fucking look out, I'm going to wipe everybody out, I've already been stewing over this for maybe even a month. I've been processing it and putting up with it and parking it, or dealing with something else, or letting it distract me and doing something else. So by the time I get to that point where I'm frustrated, I'm ready to kill. I'm like, then people are going to die. So that's just how it is. I've got those 2 throttles. So I think that having that moment where you just accept that you're here for the human experience, and that's okay, and you're going to have a meltdown, you're going to have a cry, and then you can gather yourself up and make that conscious decision, that intelligent emotion to move forward. I think that's an awesome way of living.
Yeah, and get back in the flow again. And that's really what I've discovered. It has to be in the moment.
Yeah.
It's got to be in the moment, because if you're just pushing it all down, it's all going to just explode, like you said at one point. So it's better just to just to get it out. But even a year ago, that roller coaster ride I had, I'm pretty sure it was Monday morning actually. That roller coaster ride I had just before 8 o'clock could have lasted days for me.
Wow.
It could have lasted days, just stewing and stuff over stuff. It's not even important half the time, but in the moment it is.
Yeah.
But now I choose to be in the moment and make that choice. Am I going to be in this all day, or am I going to be in flow today? And you've got to move. You've got to acknowledge it and release it in some way, or ask yourself if it's really true, and then just move forward from it and get back in flow.
Oh, I love that. Ask yourself if it's really true. I know that, and I was talking about this earlier on something else I was doing, and I was teaching people about intelligent emotion, and then saying, when something triggers you, are you being triggered because that person is doing something that other people have done to you in your life? Or what is it about this situation? Is it that person? Like if someone comes up to you and says, how was your weekend? And you don't like that person, that's the most annoying question in the world. Someone comes up to you that you absolutely adore and you enjoy their company, and they say, how was your weekend? That is the 2-hour conversation. Okay. You're telling them all about your weekend. So it's an energy thing as well. But it's a choice that I was teaching people to make. It's an intelligent emotion. Feel it, understand it. Is this relevant to now, or are you reacting to something that you haven't dealt with in the past? And once you analyze it, and I know that, logic and emotion, I'm always getting the two blurred, but I need to understand where the emotion is coming from so that I can go, oh, okay, now I know how to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Any trigger we get, it's probably not even the person that's triggering us. It'll be someone else that said something nasty to us a year ago, 20 years ago, when we were 6, and it's stored in there. And then someone says something, and then, we're after them by the throat saying, oh, you nasty person, or whatever, I hate you and you're so mean to me, when really it was actually the trigger of the old emotion that's coming up. So once again, when you're in the moment with that, you can really just breathe into it and just kind of go, okay, I need to take this trigger elsewhere so I can sort it out. Otherwise, this person in front of me is going to cop it, and it's probably not even their fault.
Yeah. I learned years ago, and I think it was with martial arts, how to be more in the flow because, I was a cranky little bugger for quite some time. But I learned about...
That's very present moment, isn't it, martial arts?
It is. You don't have any choice, because if you're not in present, you're going to get throttled. But it taught me a lot of mental discipline around making sure that I was paying attention to what's happening right here in the now. And it also taught me about directional anger, because I was angry with everybody. Everything was a trigger for me because I was so used to copying the bullying all the time from every angle that I just expected that everyone was going to bully me and everyone was going to be, horrible to me. So I got on the defense immediately in every single situation.
Well, then you could start the whole thing, you see, instead of being picked on.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm trying to gain control back by becoming one of those assholes.
That kind of put you in control then, didn't it? I choose when I'm angry, not you.
Exactly right. So that worked, as you can imagine. But I did learn about directional anger. And that is that if Trish makes me angry, I'm going to be angry with Trish. I'm not going to be angry with Trish's daughter, her cat, her dog, 15 of her neighbors, or anybody else. I'm going to be angry with Trish. And it's up to me to deal with Trish in a manner that lets her know that my feelings have been hurt, and that's why I'm angry. Because if I'm angry, something's hurt me, and that's my coping mechanism. So I learned about directional anger because of that. And once I understood that about directional anger, I could get more flow everywhere else because that person didn't make me mad. So why I don't need to take it out with them. And I actually found
That's good.
Yeah, I found it was a much easier way, because I need to have, even though I'm extremely spiritual, but I need to have scientific proof. I need to have tangible, touchy-feely proof of that a system is working for me to go, okay, because I've seen systems that don't work. So spirit world is very different, but in my own, in my own human life, I need to have that tangible evidence that it's working. So directional anger was fantastic for me to get back in the flow, because I'm angry with Trish. Sorry to use you as an example, but I'm angry with one person. I'm not angry with everybody or the situation. I'm angry with that person. So
it's not my fault I got this horrible haircut and I look like my brother. Don't be angry with me.
I actually thought you looked cute as a button. I really like it, and I like the colour. It's different too, isn't it? But yeah.
Oh dear. And I think that's great advice. Yeah, directional. Be angry, be angry with who you are angry with, not with everybody else. But then even that, do you think, if I triggered you in some way and made you angry, is it an old anger coming up that's just been triggered by me? So ultimately it's not even me, it's another memory.
Yeah. And initially when I first started trialing this, I would be super angry with you, but and still take it out on you. I'd still let you know that I was pissed off. And whether it was your problem or not, it was my feeling around that being triggered. But I used this example earlier today. I had an incident in the gym where this guy did not want a female in the gym. I should have been somewhere, and he was super aggressive and super intimidating and super bullying, and I thought, fuck you, not today, Charlie Brown.
Oh no.
So I squared off to him because I can look after myself, and he backed right off. He instantly backed off, and I thought it's just not going to happen. So I used directional anger in that situation. I knew that it was because I'd been abused and because I'd been bullied and because I'd been intimidated. And I had two choices, fight or flight. And years ago, I would have blown up way too much. But I realized that it was just this man's ignorance about women in the gym. So that's how he was raised. So he got some triggers there as well. So instead of me being angry with him because he was a physical manifestation of everything else that had happened in my life about being bullied up to that point, I realized that it was me being triggered. So I did put him back in his place, but I did it in a non-verbal manner. I just squared off and give him a look like, okay, let's go then. And he backed off. And so, I don't think that violence is the answer. I used to think violence was always the answer. And I joke about it now, especially to people that have known me for a very long time. But that directional understanding and being able to sit with that emotion and realizing where it's attached and where this trigger is coming in gave me a tremendous amount of ability to understand myself at a greater level. And then
that gives you greater flow then too, because otherwise you're hanging on to that for days on end as well, and everybody's copping it.
Absolutely. I'd be pissed off with everyone because some random dude gave me the death stare in the gym. That's just stupid. That's what a waste of my energy.
So it happens. So yours kind of appears in anger, and mine just appears in, I don't know, some emotional meltdown. But it's the same, isn't it? It's the same. We're being triggered in some way, and we can either live our whole day like that and just have a shit day, or we can make a choice in the moment. All right, I'm not in flow right now. How can I bring back flow? What brings me some joy? What can I do that I really like right now? And just get on with it. And that day, I'm pretty sure it was Monday, as soon as I flipped over that card, you didn't see it, let me grab it because you will laugh as well.
I love the way every single thing that we go through is a message, and it's about that level of awareness on.
It was just hilarious, and it just snapped me straight out of everything, and I think it gave everybody a laugh that morning too. Oh dear. Good old Osho, eh? There he is.
Oh my goodness. Mr. Miyagi's had too many things.
Yeah, and it was about a cup of tea, and it was about finding pleasure in the mundane. And I thought, that's flow.
You know what? if anybody that I work with or anybody that I have ever worked with from a muggle's perspective is watching or ever sees this video, they're going to crack up laughing. My key word when I'm about to go fucking postal is I'm going to have a cup of tea. That means you're pushing my buttons and I need to walk away because I'm going to throat punch you.
Because you look, because you look like that guy, do you, when you're about to crack?
Yeah, probably. That's my key word. And I remember the CEO one day had to come and tell me something, and he knew, he was chuckling because he's a little bit of like a muttly chuckler when he gets chuckled. And he came and said to me, we're going to need more tea.
That's
my key word, a cup of tea. I'm going to have a cup of tea because I'm 2 seconds off losing it. So just shut up and let me go have my cup of tea. Everything's better with an Earl Grey. I'll come back to you in a minute.
I'll have to send you a picture of it because then you can pop it up in a office email. Current mood.
Do not approach.
That's funny. But you got to do what it takes, don't you, to snap out of it. And before we got on our call tonight, I've had like a mini meltdown tonight as well. And how did I snap out of that? Well, I didn't easily, but then I knew that I had to be here shining my light at a certain time. So I had a time limit. The pressure was on. And that's when I don't know, this is the flow of spirit too, isn't it? Because I was just guided to get on YouTube. There's something on there you need to see. And I don't normally watch those kind of videos with the Arcturian stuff. But something just said, click on it. And it gave me all the answers that I needed, plus helped for tonight's content. Yep. And it kind of snapped me out of it a little bit. So that's the flow that you get into if you can ask for help, ask for guidance, but then act on what comes, because it may seem insignificant. Oh, what do you mean just go to YouTube? Or what do you mean just turn that channel on? Or look at your phone right now. All those little prompts, they lead you to the answer.
Every single time. It's just about being present in the moment and allowing the flow to happen.
Yeah, and doing it without questioning it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's and then those other days where it's all just flow, and thankfully, and I think you're the same, we have more in flow days now than out. Yeah. And but once again, that's a choice. That's self-empowerment, and that's the choice we all have.
Exactly. And it's about boundaries coming in as well. And if you're feeling sad and depressed, first of all, make sure that you're not just surrounded by arseholes. If you're surrounded by top quality, good wackos and a nice little mix of weirdo people in there, and they're a good bunch of eggs, then have a look and see where your mindset is. Have a look and see what you can do that within your control. And shift it. Try something different. Something different.
Absolutely. And there's heaps of beautiful articles, really powerful articles in Holistic Bliss magazine. We've still got a couple of days. Well, you can go to the magazines anytime. It's free online at holisticbliss.com. But the August edition was all about evolution, and there's some fantastic articles and blogs in there about how you can change your mindset and really get back in the flow of things. So go and check them out.
Exactly. Yes. I think are we wounding up? We're wound up.
I think so. Now that we're just getting in flow. Hey everybody. Hey hey Joanne. You're having a cry now too. Yeah. Let it go. Let it go and get in flow. Hey, that's a good saying. Let it go and get in flow.
We could turn that into a rap song. Look out, Eminem, we're coming for you.
Oh, we could. Yeah, we could just wear our wigs like sideways next time, and we could just come on and do some rap.
Oh my goodness. I could wear my pants down and have my bum crack hanging out.
You could. Ooh. They'll be scrambling to get on here to see that.
Look, I have no doubt. No doubt. Nothing like an old lady's booty.
Oh my goodness. Well, that has been fun. I hope for everybody listening, either live here in our audience or on the podcast channels, that's lifted your spirits a little bit. And you know, whatever it is that you take away from it, it's really up to you to choose in the moment whether you want to be in flow or not. And if you choose to sit there and be angry or feel the feelings or cry or whatever, do that as well, but be okay with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very good advice.
Yeah.
Oh, now that's us for another week. Thank you very much for tuning in to a Guided Life podcast. Thank you very much to our sponsor, Holistic Bliss Magazine, and to all of the people who are listening to us.
And you can subscribe to our amazing podcast. Oh, and by the way, thank you to everybody who's left a review. We've got 5 reviews now on Apple Podcasts, so thank you very much. So you can find us on Buzzsprout, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio. You can download the app. It's an amazing station, Spotify, and many other places. And we'll be on Audible and Amazon very soon as well.
And if Oprah would like to book us, you'll need to speak to our manager first. Just saying.
Yeah.
Very busy lady. Very busy lady.
I say we really appreciate all of your support. It's amazing, and for the live audience that shows up every week and everyone who supports us, we enjoy our little banters, and we hope that you are benefiting from it as well. Life is too serious.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Good night, and we'll see you all again next week.
Bye.
Bye.